Very good morning, friends. Lovely to be with you. Morning, Nagesh, ma'am, Praveen, Preeti, Uma, and all of you at this NGO, friends of the NGO, children, all of you, a very, very good morning. Lovely. If you have the money to spend on your clothes and your phones and your cars and your movies and your parties, you can definitely spend a little more to make sure that your child is safe. A little more attention, and if it takes, hire a little help whom you can completely trust and take care of your children. So that's it from me as a parent. And I'll end with something that I read just yesterday, and it's from Mahatma Gandhi. And he says that if the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. So I again extend my very best wishes to Uma, Preeti, Praveen, to ma'am. I hope they find themselves, they do more than find themselves. They find in themselves a wealth, a fortune in this service that they are doing to others. So, thank you very much for having me this morning.
I would now like to invite Mr. Nagesh Kukunoor to come and say a few words. Thank you.
Morning. This could have been timed a little bit better. I really wish you had launched this thing while I was making Lakshmi. One of the toughest things that I encountered when I was making the film is there is no available information on anything, anywhere. So we were pulling statistics, and we all know that 90% of the internet is manufactured. It's very hard to sift fact from fiction. So half the stuff that I was getting, it was all, I wasn't sure if I would correlate the data to anything. So it's awesome that finally there is an online resource where people can actually go to get information or at least be pointed in the right direction. So thank you for that. One of the things that I've encountered as the biggest impediment when I started down this rather precarious journey by accident is the way India deals with sex. The problem is, and I'm not even touching the issue of child abuse, I'll get to that in a brief second. The problem is, it is such a dirty word. All of us are raised this way. I see mothers, fathers. Sex is the one word that will not be uttered easily, will not be discussed. Even as I speak, I can see everyone just kind of shrivel up and get uncomfortable. I think it's hiding this stuff in the closet for so long, which is the root of a lot of the problems. I really wish that in our schools, in our families, in our homes, for crying out loud, being one of the most populous countries in the world, we should be able to talk more freely about this. I think it would eliminate a lot of taboo, make the children a whole lot smarter, give them the same tools that Juhi was saying that, would alert them to the possibility of what is right and what is wrong. And it's funny, when I deal with a subject like Lakshmi, I'm lauded. Or people say, hey, that's a noble thing. But if I were to ever deal with sex, then they'll say, oh, what a scumbag. He wants to do something that's deteriorating and wrong and stuff like that. So I really hope to tackle this topic in one of my future films, because I really think that issue needs to be addressed. On to how I ended up with Prerna was exactly the way my eyes opened to this whole topic of child abuse. I was just, one of these casual invitations. I was asked to come and visit a rescue shelter in a small coastal town in Andhra Pradesh. So I had a little free time on my hands. I went down there. There's this man who runs a small shelter out of his parents' home, and I spent 2 amazing days there. what happened in those 2 days literally changed my life. I got to meet so many of these women, and here's where I tip my hat to them, because after suffering the kind of emotional, mental and physical abuse, they were actually able to stand in front of me and have a normal conversation. I mean, we have no idea, probably someone like Preeti and Praveen do, but how lucky most of us are as we sit in our ivory towers and make judgment calls. Just listening to these stories that these women told me, I was moved to such a point that I said I needed to do something about it. Then I had the good fortune to meet this amazing girl who was the first person who took her traffickers to court. She was sold into prostitution, but after she was rescued, single-handedly she had the courage to keep going to court time and again, and you've been through this whole process, and actually stand up there and tell a story. I mean, that requires courage that you and I really cannot imagine. So that was the genesis for Lakshmi. And through that process, I have actually, become a changed person, because I cannot fathom this whole concept of child abuse. As an adult, we all have choices. Sometimes those choices are taken away from us. But still, as an adult, we have some set of tools equipped to deal with this. I'm horrified at the fact that when there is a child and when they really don't have a choice, that people subject them to this kind of cruelty. I keep harping on Lakshmi. It's not to sell my film, because the film was released and it ran for a whole week in India. Oh my God. So, I mean, we did horrible numbers at the box office. Not to say that it was surprising, but we've done a whole bunch of festivals abroad, and each time I interact with an audience that's seen the film, there are only one of two ways they come away. One is they're horrified but motivated, and the second is they're disgusted and want to have nothing to do with the subject. And both these reactions are good with me, because something as horrific as child abuse cannot be dealt with in a nice sugar-coated manner where people deal with it and go back home. It's something that people need to be alerted to, and we need to do something to fix it. So once again, hats off to the two of you all and Prerna. And thank you, Aaron, for actually getting this started, because this is a powerful tool. And I think if more educated people, at least at the starting point, get alerted to information and stuff that they can have easily, I think we can keep moving forward and eradicate, no, but at least soften and lessen the problem. So thank you guys, and I'm very happy to be here.
As a parent, मैं कुछ चीज़ें मैंने फॉलो की हैं, क्योंकि हर आए दिन आप अखबार खोलते हैं, और खोलने की ज़रूरत भी नहीं है, कहीं ना कहीं फर्स्ट पेज पे कुछ ऐसी दर्दनाक न्यूज़ होती है कि किसी छोटे बच्चे के साथ बलात्कार हो गया, उसको काट दिया गया, मार दिया गया, उसकी बॉडी यहाँ मिल गई, छोटे छोटे बच्चों के साथ तो मतलब, और खुद अपना बच्चा हो घर पर, तो ऐसी न्यूज़ पढ़ के तो ऐसे दिल में चौंक जाती थी, मुझे बहुत दुख और बहुत भय हो जाता था. तो आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग सर्टन थिंग्स विच आई एम हैप्पी टू शेयर एज अ पेरेंट, कि आप भी प्लीज़ इसे फॉलो करिए. कि मैंने कभी अपने बच्चों को अकेले कहीं नहीं भेजा. हाँ, मैं जानती हूँ आजकल मोबाइल फ़ोन है, आप बोलेंगे वो मोबाइल फ़ोन उनको दे दिया. प्लीज़, दैट इज़ नॉट द सोल्यूशन. किसी को साथ में भेजिए, किसी औरत को साथ में भेजिए. मैं अपने बच्चों को कभी अपने ड्राइवर्स के साथ, अपने मेल सर्वेंट्स के साथ कहीं नहीं. एंड ऑफ कोर्स दैट इज़ एज अ पेरेंट. एंड ऑफ कोर्स यहाँ आकर मुझे ये सब समझ आया कि ये जो वेबसाइट है, इससे कितने लोगों को फ़ायदा होगा, एक हेल्प मिलेगी, कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहिए, कुछ कहना है, लोग झिझक जाते हैं कुछ कहने के लिए. तो यहाँ है एक जगह, एक सेफ जगह जिससे आप संपर्क में रह सकते हैं. एंड इट वाज अ लवली लुकिंग वेबसाइट. आई सेड कि किसने डिज़ाइन किया है. इट्स सच अ प्लेजेंट लुकिंग वेबसाइट कि हाँ, यहाँ आकर आपको लगता है ठीक है, सब ठीक है, मैं जो कहना चाहती हूँ मैं कहूँगी, जो सुनना चाहती हूँ, जो पढ़ना चाहती हूँ पढ़ सकती हूँ. सो आई कंग्रेचुलेट देम एंड आई विश देम ऑल द बेस्ट. बहुत ही अच्छी सर्विस है.
लक्ष्मी के जर्नी के थ्रू उसके प्री प्रोडक्शन के टाइम जो रिसर्च कर रहा था मैं, और फिर फिर फिल्म बनाने के बाद उसको अलग अलग से NGOs को दिखाने के बाद फेस्टिवल्स ले जाने के बाद ये पूरी जर्नी में मुझे एक मौका मिला इस सोसाइटी के इस गंदे एस्पेक्ट को देखने की। ये जो चाइल्ड ट्रैफिकिंग एंड प्रोस्टिट्यूशन की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं, और नंबर 1 रीज़न इसका ये है कि इसके बारे में बिल्कुल अवेयरनेस नहीं है। ये 2 लेवल्स पे होता है, एक जो फोर्सबली बच्चों को ले जाकर के ट्रैफिकिंग होती है, बट दूसरा जो हम इसको बहुत कैजुअली ले रहे हैं, इसको कंप्लीटली इग्नोर करते हैं, वो है चाइल्ड सेक्सुअल अब्यूज़ जो हर घर में होता है और कोई इसके बारे में बात नहीं करता है। और आजकल अगर देखा जाए बड़े होने के बाद ये मेंटल प्रॉब्लम्स जो हैं उसका नंबर 1 रीज़न ये है कि बचपन में वो चाइल्ड का कुछ सेक्सुअल अब्यूज़ हुआ था। सो आज ये ऑनलाइन पोर्टल लॉन्च करने का एक ही बस मकसद है कि इस सब्जेक्ट के बारे में कुछ अवेयरनेस दिया जाए, बस इट्स एज सिंपल एज दैट।
Nagesh was introduced this morning, and we all know he's made amazing socially relevant movies. We have an entire section on Bollywood movies on our website. In Aram, we've used some clippings from some Bollywood movies as a training material. We've used Lakshmi, since we saw it as a training material, not just for human trafficking but also for child sexual abuse. Nagesh, what we would like to know is what are your thoughts on the role of the film industry and media in not just sensationalizing this issue but making it more meaningful, more victim centric?
Unlike the really complex issues you're talking about, and like Meenakshi just broke it down in so many different details, my answer is a fairly simple one, which is Bollywood and the entertainment industry does not want to deal with something like this.
And Nagesh's struggle to get certification is like our struggle, NGOs running shelter facilities for children, our struggle to get a license. So Nagesh, we are all in the same boat. We want to create safe spaces for children, for those who genuinely want to create safe spaces for children. We don't get the license, others do, just the way. So thank you so much.
And I want to make one closing comment. I say this with absolutely no false humility, because this country is notorious for that. मैं क्या चीज़ हूँ? Actually meaning that I'm doing so much amazing stuff. But let me tell you what these guys do, and the other people who are doing it with absolutely no reward. That I'm telling you is genuinely heroic. What we guys do is occasionally step out of our ivory towers, and then we pat ourselves on the back for the next 10 years saying, "Maine wo kiya tha, remember I did that." So I actually want to say a big thank you to you guys. I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Why Nagesh is leaving? Because he means it from the bottom of his heart. We are not going to leave him. We are going to pull him for a fight on the amendment of JJ Act. So Nagesh, there are 2 people and maybe Roshni, I don't know, many people waiting for you, just to talk to you while you take the lift, to tell you about the new amendments in the JJ Act and how you can help us with that as well. Thank you so much.